Hello, everybody. Arcuslock here with a question for the Fnaf community. And it might break everything. So prepare yourself. So, my son and I were talking about Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And I asked him a question. So, of those of a certain age, if you grew up with a voice answering machine, usually when someone called, it would ring and it would ring and it would ring, and then eventually it would kick over to voicemail. Which for the longest time is what I thought was happening in this game. However, some people think that what's happening are recordings are being played back to Mike, the Night's Guardman. And for future reference, what we're talking about is Five Nights at Freddy's 1. The other games are pretty straightforward. It's someone calling and leaving a voicemail.
Wait, I just realized.
Except for in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, there is a moment in the first ones where he is calling, he is still alive, and he's leaving these messages. Okay? The question I have for the FNAF community is, if he died on, was it night 5?
4.
Night 4, who called to play the message? So either one...
If it was voicemail, then you can't then if he was calling you from somewhere, then you can't just listen to it on voicemail. You have to go and play the answering machine.
Yeah, but you don't. The phone rings, it clicks over to voicemail,
Yeah.
and then the message begins. However, you're hearing him call at the time he's trapped in the room. So there's two instances here. So either one, right? One is he died and was killed, and someone called you and played his death message, right? That's option 1. Or option 2 is that call was in real time, and he was at a separate location.
He's at a separate location.
Hello?
So...
No, he's not at a separate location. He recorded those messages preemptively.
But again, someone would have to call you to play you that message. That's how it works. That's how this whole crazy thing works. That's how a voice machine, that's how you can hear his voice. That's why it rings. So my question is to Scott Cawthon, Markiplier, was it Dwallo? Matt Pat, Game Theory, any of you guys out there.
Jacksepticeye.
Yeah, Jacksepticeye. All you guys that...
Maybe even Corey Kenshin.
I don't know if... And Corey Kenshin too. If any of you all have heard the answer to this. Because to me, I feel like either it breaks it or... Like, maybe it's a mistake, right? Maybe Scott Cawthon didn't really think about it, and then... put the fact that he mentions a recording and thought, that would just cover it. But the problem is, if we're going on the assumption that the phone rings and then kicks over to voicemail, and that's how you're hearing phone guy, then it has to be one of those two options. Or maybe third, that Scott didn't really take that into consideration, or it's just something he overlooked and maybe was hoping no one would catch on to. But I would like an answer. So if you guys can either message in the comments or anything, share this as much as you want. I feel like this is something that needs to be answered because it opens up the possibility of maybe phone guy was working in a different location. Maybe that would explain why there is no mess or gore in the room in which the suits are being, because if you go there, nothing changes, right? He says, check the suits to make sure there's no body in there, but of course, when you check, it's just the same picture. So...
I tried that.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone's looked to see if there's gore. And there wasn't. And it only applies to the first game. Everyone else, it makes sense. He's calling, he's leaving a voicemail, he's still alive. However, to hear his death would have to mean that the phone call was live and that he died, or someone is playing you phone guy's messages after he died. But he's kind of working with you at the same time because he's commenting, right? Like, I can't believe you made it through the first night. I can't believe you made it through the second night. So he is alive up until the fourth night. And he is calling himself, is the assumption. The question is, how does his death message get to
He
you?
has to be recording them preemptively.
But then who's playing them to you, and how is it that they're getting him to comment correctly on each night?
He got switched over to the day shift, and I'm assuming somebody had to inform him over the guy being still alive, because he said he got switched over to the day shift, and so he is working on the day shift before him, so he got to be recording them preemptively and playing them back and having somebody call him and play them to them.
How about
There's gotta be
new?
another employee.
I don't think so.
What, you think it's the animatronics?
I don't think it's animatronics. I think he's calling you in real time and he died somewhere else while you were working.
He can't just... But it's literally the same scream and the same animatronic noises.
I know.
And he's working at Freddy Fazbear's, he says.
But there's no gore, there's no body.
Yeah, but he says he's working at Freddy Fazbear's. They probably... Well, you know how Freddy Fazbear's is like...
And if you're the day shift...
Wait. You know how he says, like, Freddy Fazbear's is a like, they don't want to be blamed for anything. They probably, if he died on the day shift, they'd probably clean it up immediately. Because those, in parts and service, are just parts and stuff that's used for service and repairing
Why won't
the
you
animatronics.
die?
I don't know.
So it's
I don't
gotta
think
be
anyone would call and play pre-recorded stuff over the phone. Unless that's deeper into the lore, right? If you guys know who it might be, let us know. We need help ending this argument because I don't think we'll ever get anywhere. So, putting it out to the Fnaf community, and hopefully we hear from somebody, right?
Okay. I mean, if we hear it from somebody for real, I'm gonna be super excited. I'd be like, oh my god, we actually got
Game
it.
theorists. Who's the other one?
Game theorist, Jacksepticeye, the guy, I don't remember his name. Markiplier, Corey Kenshin, I don't know.
Alright.
Scott Cawthon himself, though, I bet he could end this argument.
He could.
He could end this right now.
But
he
my guess is
he won't
he
tell
was
us.
just having fun recording it. It was just an oopsie. He never really thought that far into it. And at the end of the day, it is what it is, and he didn't really think about that part.
I think that might be true. I think that's true.
But if you guys know differently, or if anyone has heard anything differently, or if anyone's figured anything out, let us know. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and have a good one.